Welcome to the Jam. That's right. LeBron James, it's Space Jam time. Wait a second. Perfect. Now, we're ready to talk LeBron. I love me some LeBron James, that's right. And we're going to get right to it on this special episode of Unbox It as we talk not LeBron James 18s, whoop, or LeBron James 17s, whoop, or LeBron James, clothing. We're going to talk games instead. That's right. This episode of Unbox It right here on Project Nerd is Funkoed out. And we're excited to unbox this game from Funko Games themselves. Before we get started, as always, if you're following us right here on YouTube, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and of course turn on those notifications. And after you get done, if you've had a chance to check out any of the Funkoverse games yourselves, we'd love to hear your opinion on them in the comments below. Do what you do. But as we've seen before on this very series of Unbox It right here on Project Nerd, we've unboxed some Funkoverse games. Bloop. And we really rather enjoyed them, from the packaging to the pops inside to the game itself. The game is a difficult game, and as you'll notice on the box, it does recommend ages 10 and up. But we're pretty excited for this one because of this little guy right here. Obviously, I love me some LeBron James, but I do love me some Bugs Bunny too, and we'll get to that as we pop this thing on open. As you might have remembered, or if you don't remember, check it out now, those aforementioned Jurassic Park Funkoverse games. We had some games, or some boxes, we opened that had the full game inside of it. Then we had some expansions. This is a smaller one, so when I initially got it, I thought it'd be interesting to see what you can do with an expansion of these characters. But hold up, you're going to get the whole game. That's right, the whole game is inside this box, and I'm pretty excited to pop it open with you and take a look at it, as the board is very different than, I'm sure, well, I know because it's on the back here, but it's very different than the Jurassic Park one. So let's take a peek at what's happening inside the box. I've talked about it before with these Funkoverse games. I do like the packaging. For me, it's important for the games to have good packaging. I put my games out on the shelf, and these are going to sit next to some of my other games, and you get that really cheap cardboard packaging, especially on card games, that just kind of crumble up and look terrible on the shelf. Well, this packaging, whether it be the spine, whether it be the front, not only does it look good, it's sturdy, it's in good shape, it's good thick cardboard, and I like the little window that has the characters. For this time around, though, I'm not going to keep the characters in there. I do store the Jurassic Park ones in the game, just keep them with it, but I'm ready to put this little LeBron on my shelf, like right back there. And that's because this little guy is awesome. You might notice they do, as I mentioned, you get your Funko Pop figures in the Funkoverse game. They are not full size. Let's compare it here to a, completely different movie industry Funko Pop. About half the size. They are bigger than the keychains. So that's, a thing. And I think they're pretty cool. They're a nice little size. Bugs Bunny looks like he's going to stand. He is going to stand a little bit taller because of those ears. These pieces are cool. I like these characters. I love me some Bugs Bunny, Looney Tunes. The Toon Squad uniforms look cool. They've got their proper numbers on the back. LeBron has his sleeve that he wears. His tattoos are present. As we looked at, you could see the beard. Just a really good amount of detail on these characters, and kind of digging it. Really like it. Does come with one basketball. So if I do have a complaint, it's that both of their hands are in a way to hold the basketball, but you only get one basketball. So what does that mean? Nothing for the game or functionality. The pieces still work great, but nitpicking is you have him holding that, and then you have this guy just with a weird shaped hand. Like, something else maybe to have held it would have been nicer, but again, that's nitpicking, because overall I do like the pieces. There are two stands obviously to hold them with. One black and one clear. I guess it's your decision what to put on each, and I'm throwing stuff now. But those are pretty nice as well. As I mentioned, sometimes you get expansions with these two-piece characters, and if you did, you would still get your crystals and some pieces. But as you can tell from this thick bag, we have a lot of game pieces in here. And then, of course, we have the bag of die, so you can play the game. Cardboard is thick on these pieces, so again, just like the packaging, I think it's important. And let's revisit that packaging real quick. I'm gonna move these pieces out, So you can see this just plastic piece. One thing to note, take this out because there's more game going on behind it. Two, like I said, it's sturdy. All the way from the cardboard here to this plastic piece, Funko puts a lot into their packaging. And again, might sound crazy to some of you, but for those of you that it's important for the display, for it to hold up over time, that's a plus. That's a positive. You're paying this much for games. It's normal price. It's not, way more than anything else. You might as well get good packaging that's going to take up over time with it. But let's take this piece out because, as I mentioned, there's more going on behind it, including the full manual. FAQs on the back. In it's got all the instructions, what you do with your pieces, everything. A lot of detail. If you don't like to look through the manual, right here too, you can figure out how to play it with an online video, as many companies are doing that. Of course, Funko would as well. The board is pretty cool. We'll take a closer look at this later on because it is double-sided. I want to see how that looks. And then, of course, you get your game pieces, instructions, and then more cardboard going on here. So each player gets one of those, and then, of course, the move cards. Really cool. Let's take a look back at the game board. As I mentioned, I wanted to look at it. Really neat. It is part Looney Tunes and part Space Jam. So I'm going to make a lot of noise, as I do in these videos. Hopefully y'all have gotten used to it by now. But the board is pretty big. It's pretty big. It's a good size board, and let's get it all open. And bam. I get this open here. So this is the basketball side of the board. You get a basketball court with all of the places for your cards and your tokens and everything like that. And then the other side, it's the Looney Tunes universe board. And as you can see, it's squared off just like everything else. Really cool. You got different areas of the maps. You got the Western Saloon and everything, obviously. Duck season and rabbit season is present. The rowback like crazy there. Your Roadrunner, Wile E. Coyote, Acme, and TNT. And then, of course, Warner Brothers themselves and the Warner Tower, which houses some characters not on Looney Tunes, but some characters I wouldn't mind seeing in a movie. And, of course, really thick, really liking the board. Just with everything. The stuff's well made. And again, I know I'm sounding like a broken record with that, but that's important when you're talking games that are going to be played. So, LeBron James, what do you think? I don't know if he cares really one way or the other. Some of this stuff might just be whatever. It's marketing. But he seemed really keen on making that movie, and I'm glad he has, because not only do we get cool stuff like this, but to see LeBron do something else that Michael Jordan's done. No. Jordan fans, go ahead. Throw the hate down in the comments. All right, let's review through this one more time as we take a closer look at the game. Switch to the alternate camera here. And as I open up the packaging, as you can see here, you get your game pieces. Again, LeBron, Bugs, full of detail. Loving this. Just absolutely loving these pieces. The basketball and the stands here at the bottom. Your game pieces in the middle. Once again, thick cardboard. And then, of course, your crystals and your die. If we pick this piece up out, you're going to have your guide, your game board, and then additional pieces. All of it fits snug and tight into this little box, and fans should be pretty happy with it. All right, big question is now, what do I think? Do I recommend? Do I not recommend? Well, I'm going to go with recommend. I actually, as much as I don't want to collect a million Funko pieces, they do everything now. I just saw a Letterkenny one the other day. I've got my White Castle one on the way. This is pretty fun. And again, if you haven't picked up on it, ding, LeBron James, my dude. So I'm pretty stoked for this. If you're not a huge LeBron James fan, still it's Space Jam. It's fun. So if you do like the Funkoverse Strategy Games, you've picked up some other versions of it, this one is one that I think you should cop. You should check it out and pick it up at a store. Major retailers, obviously directly through Funko, or you can head on over to projectnerd.com. That's project-nerd.com, and check out the link that we have in the post for this. So that's it for this episode of Unbox It, but I do have more Funko coming for you soon, so stay tuned. Those games are on the way. Not the strategy Funkoverse games, but some different games that look pretty fun. You're going to want to see those. In the meantime, make sure you check out Space Jam. As we've mentioned, of course, it's in theaters everywhere right now, as well as on HBO Max if you have HBO. But anyways, thanks to the fine folks at Funko for sending this over. We definitely give it a recommend, and we're ready to go play more Funkoverse right now. But that's it for this episode of Unbox It. Till next time, nerds.